Now that Clark Kent has returned to Earth, what will this mean for Jon's time as Superman? Well, let's hop into the pages of Superman Son of Kal-El issue number 17 and find out together, shall we? Alrighty then, so at the end of the previous issue, Clark and Jon were finally reunited, and here in this issue, they're both just kind of basking in the glow of it all. Getting to be father and son again and enjoying each other's company. In fact, Superman challenges his son to a race to a nearby alien planet. And it would seem that Jon actually beat him of his own accord this time. Interesting. Are they implying something here? They did mention only a couple issues back that Jon developed a new mysterious power that we know is going to be fleshed out a little bit more in his next series. As happy as Jon and Clark are to be reunited, there's still a specter hanging over this happy family reunion. After all, Clark isn't dumb. He watches the news and he knows the biggest story over the last little bit isn't that his son managed to topple an evil dictatorship and liberate its people. Instead, what everyone seems to be super invested in is the new relationship between Jon and his boyfriend. Obviously, Superman has no problem with his son being queer. He's frickin' Superman, for crying out loud. He's the most accepting, loving person there is. He is, however, a little taken back, though, that Jon hasn't come out to him yet and they haven't really had the talk yet. In fact, Clark has no choice but to confide in his own father, Pa Kent, who already knew about Jon. Clark admits that he's actually a little upset about the whole thing, not about his son Jon. He would never be mad at Jon. He's mad at the world in general that would make Jon second guess coming out to him. As Pa Kent explains, some other fathers out there are indeed weaker. Even if they did accept their kids as they were, maybe they would never look at them the same way again. Maybe they would think on some level the way their kids live reflects on them. And I mean, Clark only just came back now after a long and stressful time away from his son at a very stressful period in his life. Maybe Jon doesn't want to have this talk because maybe he is holding in a little bit of resentment even if he doesn't know that's what he's doing. Maybe much like the Kent's family home, the relationship between father and son actually does need a little bit of upkeep. Now from there we actually transition on over to Red Sin, the mysterious new villain who's being built up in this story. We discovered that his parents are dead, but before they did kick it, they worked for Lex Luthor on this brand new Red Sin project, something that only their son has now been able to perfect. It would also seem for some reason this Red Sin guy has a real bone to pick with Jon personally as Superman. He actively blames him for his parents' deaths. Red Sin sets a trap for Jon by setting fire to an apartment building. When Jon as Superman shows up to save all those people inside, Red Sin kinda knocks him out with a chair. And you're probably wondering to yourself, well, how the hell is that possible? Is it a kryptonite chair? No, it seems that Red Sin has the ability to actually turn off Kryptonian powers in his presence. Clark is able to swoop on in and save his son, but to get to the bottom of what's happening to him medically, they opt to take him to Dr. Midnight for some tests. Hey, Dr. Midnight, haven't seen them in forever. It seems that whatever Red Sin did to Jon, it's still very much a mystery, and it doesn't leave any actual evidence behind, meaning that everyone is kind of back to square one right now. It's here too, Jay actually comes by to visit Jon in his hospital bed, and when he leaves, Superman figures this is as good a time as any to finally have it out with his son. Clark starts by trying to relate to his kid, saying that, well, he knows it isn't entirely the same. When he was his age, he remembers growing up with his amazing powers, trying to hide his true alien self from the world, in fear that people, even people who loved him like Ma and Pa Kent, may judge him too harshly. Obviously, Jon knows all of this, but perhaps the real reason he never opened up to his father as quickly as he did his mother and everyone else about being a queer man is because, well, he never wanted Superman to look at him any differently. Jon just wanted things to keep going the way they were, and I mean, it makes sense. This character's entire life has been defined by huge, massive upheavals. It's not all that surprising at all to think that what he would really want is just some consistency and some familiarity. Superman obviously says that he loves his son, that he's the most important person in his world, but moreover than that, Jon is a miracle child, a gift from both worlds, and that any person who would make Jon happier obviously is a hero in Superman's eyes as well. Now that sweet family Kodiak moment ends up getting cut short though as we check on in with Lex Luthor. It seems that he's captured one of Bendix's Gamora Corps members, and as part of his big next villainous plot codename Project Blackout, Lex is going to chop this guy up with a saw to see what he can learn. Wow, touching family drama juxtaposed with horrifying hostile level violence. Comic books never change. And so that was Superman Son of Kal-El issue number 17. 17, everyone. Another fun, enjoyable issue that at times certainly just feels like Tom Taylor getting the house in order for both the new John series and the new Joshua Williamson era of the Superman books. Obviously, a story like this was a given with John officially coming out to his father as a queer man. I will say I like this one more than the Lois one, because, you know, while it was obvious Superman was always going to accept and love his son because he's frickin' Superman, at least here they were able to draw on a little bit more drama, with the two's relationship being under so much more pressure as of late. I also gotta wonder too, with the special artwork we've seen of John in the blue Superman suit, is this whole red sin power how we actually end up getting there? We've got at least one more issue to figure it out, and if I was a betting man, I would say yeah, probably. Overall, I'd feel comfortable giving this one a 7.5 out of 10. It was pretty good. I'd be lying if I said with the Bendix threat finally vanquished that this whole arc just doesn't feel like a big old epilogue. A fun, well-deserved epilogue, but an epilogue nonetheless.
Hey there everyone, Kate Joel again, and I just want to thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. It means a lot to me. And hey, if you enjoyed the book I covered in this issue and want some comics of your own, might I recommend Book Depository? It's my #1 place for shopping for comic book trades. You get a great price, and if you use my link down in the description, you'll actually be helping me out at the same time. You get something, I get something, everybody wins, right? So until next time everyone, I've been Joel, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.